Good afternoon from Northampton County, Pennsylvania. Today we are exploring a little more of the Lehigh Coal and Navigation system, or the Lehigh Canal. Lehigh Canal was built in 1829, if I'm not mistaken, a couple years after the Schuylkill and the Erie, but still early anthracite transportation highway, waterway. The area that we are at right now, I believe, is Dam 5 and also the site of Guard Lock 5. And there's a lot here to see, so let's get started. And right off the bat, I'm not really sure what this part would have been for. I'm thinking some sort of water control for the canal itself, but with there being a back wall on it, I don't know. So this one's up for interpretation as far as why exactly this little archway is here. So let me show you exactly what's going on. We've got some old iron in the stone here too. Okay, so it's the Lehigh River right here. The foliage is tough. I know this is definitely going to require a revisit in the wintertime. But what we're looking at right here, this is where Dam 5 once existed, creating slack water heading back to the north, heading north, direction of the north in the river. Sorry, that was tough to get out. As you know, slack water was created for when the canal boats weren't in canal sections themselves and they were actually out on the river. It was the slack water area. So Dam 5 created slack water, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for the section 5 of the canal. So this would have been a stone and wood cribbing dam. Would have been about 13 feet high, if I remember correctly, from what I read. So all of this below us, this would have been much higher. This would have been built up with stone and wood timbers going across the river. There's actually a good example of one of the Lehigh Canal dams further upriver. That would be dam number 4. We'll probably get to that sometime in the summer because that's a good hike to take along the DNL trail. In the summertime, you can still see it. It's not all overgrown like this particular area is here. So again, going right across this direction, there would have been a dam. Now I'm going to go down below and so you get a little bit more of context, as long as we don't come to a tragic end coming down this little cliff right here. We're going to get into the lock in a second. This is Guard Lock 5. And then there's another area on the other side of Guard Lock 5 that looks like another lock itself, but from what I'm reading is it was just a channel to have more water enter into the canal. But I'm not really sure about that. So here we've got some nice actual finished looking stone. So now what I picture is this is the end of our dam here, and then it goes all the way across the river. That would have been all built up with stones and wood timbers that have all since been removed, mostly from nature and possibly maybe some from man. But again, I'm not 100% sure because I don't have any pictures of this area Although, we see that in the ground there. Yeah, what we're actually standing on is the old stones from the base of the dam. And we just came from up there, came up them steps, walked across. Let's go back this way, we'll check out the guard lock. My buddy Zion was out here about a month ago and he sent me pictures. And he says, you got to get out here before the foliage comes in, and I did not heed his warning. And I'm regretting it now, but we can still see quite a bit of what's going on here. I said, we'll come down here. This was, what I'm reading was guard lock 5. And this had a elevation drop of 9.9 feet. That's cool. There's still a lot of wood in the ground here. I don't know. Oh, you can't make that out because of the darn glare. Here we go. There's some wood right there. And this is where our gates would have been, I presume. That's pretty far up there. All right, let me go show you this other little section. That to me looks like a second lock, and it's even got a lot of hardware on it. And what I was reading about this is that the boats actually entered this area further back in this direction because the water was already up so high from the dam. And I'll show you the elevation difference. It's actually pretty impressive. So this up here is the towpath. That's where we're heading. This is all underwater 100 years ago. This is all part of the water diverting the canal boats into guard lock 5. Oh, I forget if I mentioned, but where are we? We're in between Northampton Borough and Trichlers, Pennsylvania. Kind of near the Siegfried Power Station for you local folks. All right, so now we're going back up here. And now we're actually, if I'm not mistaken, on the towpath. And all that down there where we just were would be underwater. So now you've got your canal boats in the water. You got your mules. I believe up here on this berm, this towpath that we're on, okay, so over here, hang on, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Doesn't really help, but over there is where we just were. We were just down in there. Now over here, where we're heading, is what appears to be another lock. Almost like they had two locks here, so they could allow traffic either go one direction in one lock and one direction in the other, or to allow just 2 boats at a time to get through this area. This is it right here. But it's got this concrete bridge over it now, which clearly isn't period correct to the build, as all of you I'm sure would know. But it's just interesting that it's here. So this isn't the lock that I was just showing you. This is different, and it's got all kinds of hardware. Let me zoom in. See all these little things sticking out? Those are all pieces of iron for holding the wood along the sides of the canal, or of the lock. But I'm not reading anything about this being a lock itself. I'm reading this as just for extra water, basically, for the actual canal. Kind of like I guess you could say a feeder. It's feeding water into the canal. So I just don't understand why the hardware would be on the stones. Having a tough time with words today. Okay, so now we were just down there. That's guard lock 5. 25 feet tall, 100 feet long. I think what I read, that was the average for the Lehigh Canal locks. And now, if I'm not mistaken, the canal remains canalized all the way through Northampton Borough from here. And then I think comes back out into the river, possibly somewhere near Catasauqua. I should know this stuff. Sorry that I don't off the top of my head. There's just so much going on here. So again, this is the one to the left. What I read was a feeder chamber. And then the one over here to our right is the actual guard lock. So yeah, definitely coming back here in the winter time to get a better handle of what's going on here. So we'll quick walk down here, see if I can get you one last look. And of course, if I figure anything out between now and the posting of this video, I will add those details in the description. Definitely appears that things are going to get a lot more difficult to find in the coming months. All right. Another structure over here. Possibly a house? I don't know. Maybe the lock tender's house? Pure speculation. It's probably not. I'm hoping to get you a good view of something since you stuck around this long. Okay. So that's actually, that's really nice stone right there. All right, so this is where, on the other side of this, is where your guard lock 5 came out, and then this is also where the exiting water channel is what I'm reading, although it looks like another lock to me. This is where it also exits, and then the canal will now proceed south towards the borough of Northampton, which isn't far from here. And there's a concrete pad down there. I'm not sure what that's all about. Again, we'll be back here in the winter, I promise. All right, folks, thank you for watching.